Hello and welcome to the Side Quest podcast. You are here with your host Ben,
And your main host, Oliver.
the main man.
I don't know, I just thought I'd say that for the first time ever.
I know, just completely threw me off my stride there.
Yeah.
But in this episode, we're going to be talking about how amazing Ollie is, but also we are going to be talking about some of our hobby regrets, some of the things that we regret buying, some of the things that we potentially regret picking up, but also some of the things that we regret not buying sooner. So this is essentially about all our hobby regrets, really. So Ollie, how are you doing? Except for being like the main host and being great and all that.
I can't do the main host. You've got the voice for this. So I'm just a side piece, basically.
You're my little side quest.
Yeah, you're Whiterun. I'm Falkreath from Skyrim. Do you know what I mean? No one goes
yeah,
there.
Definitely. Yeah, something like that.
Everyone goes to Whiterun. Right. No, what have I been doing? Oh, yeah. No, wait. Is that what we're doing? How am I? I'm okay. It's been
How are you? Yes. Yeah. How are you doing?
We skipped a week, didn't we, last week?
We did. Yeah. We had a couple of evenings where we were planning, but then children issues. Were you filming last week as well? I think
Something, and then your child was a nightmare last week.
Yes, I think we had a night in particular where he was just being an absolute little horror.
If you ever listen to this podcast, you cost us a week. I want him to know that.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Tell him that.
And cost us about £4 in revenue.
Because
we're monetized now.
Yeah, we're monetized. Yo.
Were we monetized last week or in the last episode? I can't remember if we were now, but yeah, we're now finally making some money out of this. All of £3.80. I think we're still last time negative, we were on 75p, but yeah, we're still in the negative overall. But yeah, we're kind of getting there now.
I think we're at 35p a day now. Split that two ways. Take off YouTube's amount. We owe YouTube.
We're finally actually making money, which is nice. Not a lot, but we're making a little bit. It's kind of made it feel worth it. I was a bit gutted to have missed last week, but it's just the way things happened. That was it. I was out on Friday night as well.
Oh, you were partying and enjoying life, weren't you?
Well, I wasn't really partying. I went to see Peter Kay, and then we were back for like 11 o'clock. So it wasn't exactly like a late night or anything like that. But
RTK, how was that?
It was really good. I went to see him years ago, like 12 years ago, whenever he last toured as well. And yeah, he's aged, but yeah, it was a good show.
We've all aged, man.
We have all aged.
Wait, is he like in his 50s now? I think probably, isn't he?
Oh God, yeah, probably at least. Yeah, he's in his 50s. I'd say. But yeah, it makes you feel old, doesn't it? Like he was probably younger than us when he was touring the first time round.
Wasn't it? I was watching Friends or something today on a rerun. I think we're older than like Ross and Monica's parents or something now, or something like that now, isn't it? Like,
do you know what? I heard one of these the other day, and it really shocked me. You know the In-Betweeners? Mm-hmm. We are now the same age as Mr. Gilbert was.
Oh my God!
At the time of In-Betweeners.
I think I'm almost the same age as Captain Janeway now. Do you know? I watched Star Trek like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, I started to see it. I was like, maybe she's kind of fit.
Yeah.
Mind the hair. And then I was like, oh no, like you're meant to fancy Kess, whatever her name is. Kess, that's Bo Selector.
Here are Kess.
You're meant to fancy the other one or whatever. And then I was like, oh no, she's too young.
She's too, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Janeway looks all right. And now I get it. Now I understand why all like dads and that fancy Janeway, because she's only 40.
Yeah, I know, but like Captain Janeway, and makes you think, what have I done with my life?
Yeah, she's a captain.
She's captain of a starship.
Yeah, and like, we're probably older than Jean-Luc Picard, but at least both of us have more hair.
Yeah, that's true. I like to think it was probably like a choice for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could have had it grown back or something. But
they tried a wig, didn't they? But they weren't sure about having a bald captain. But it turned out to be the right thing. So
it worked for him. It worked.
But yeah, what are we doing? We'll talk about. Oh, we've aged. Everything's gotten old.
Everything's gotten old. Yeah, everyone's old and dying.
Yeah.
But no. So yeah, we back to the original point. We missed a week.
Yeah, what I saw one of our wonderful patrons is like, because last week we joked about it being our last week, and then we didn't put an episode out. It's just done now.
That was a classy little segue. 5 minutes in, you've already mentioned the Patreon.
Yeah, so I forgot about that. So we have a Patreon, by the way, for any of you listening out there. Any of you 1,100 and however many followers we have now, go and join the Patreon. If all of you join the Patreon,
we could retire.
Benji could get
hair transplant.
I was going to say it, but I didn't want to just jump straight there. I was going to say
fill in these little bits here.
Yeah, Benji could fill in that bit, his little island, and I could get a new headphone. I could get a new mic. And get some teeth done. Get some anti-aging done.
You don't need it. You've got filters on your camera that does all that for you.
Barely. I've got I'm on 10% of smooth. Here we go. Here's super smooth. Look, I could look like this.
Oh my god, it makes you like a ghost.
Oh. It's like
when you crank that up, that I could hear your computer like struggling.
See me? This guy's so old and fucked.
I can't process it quick enough.
Process, pause.
Anyway,
so what have we been doing? So today's been
what have you been
bit of a mad week. Actually, I've done 2 videos this week.
Yeah, you have been crazy, and like you've nailed a video today as well. Like in a day,
I did a video in a day. Yesterday I had nothing. This morning I had actually the video probably will be gone out. Yeah. What time's this got? 5 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Probably the same time right now. Listen to this first, obviously, or the video first. No, go to my YouTube and come back to this.
Yeah.
There's a video there for the Big Bot Bash with Bill making stuff. And then there's like Boilie Miniatures, 52 Miniatures, like loads of cool folks really doing giant collabs. They were like, "Oh, do you want to do this Big Bot Bash?" Like, yeah. And you were like, "Oh, make sure you got plenty of time. You know, it's a good one, it's a good opportunity." I was like, "Yeah, I'll have loads of time. It's not till March." And then literally 2 days ago, I was like, "Right, I finished the video. Now I need to start this one." I was like,
it's just classic you, that though, isn't it? Like I remember saying to you, I was like, "Dude, don't commit to it now because you've got loads going on. You've already got like these other videos in the pipeline. You've got this the big super secret project lined up. Like, you know, just focus on those." And you were like, "Nah, it's fine. I'll be able to get this done." And then it got to like, what time was it yesterday when I gave you a call? Like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock?
Yeah, and
you were just like, I've got some bits. And you literally managed to smash that out the park. And it looks incredible.
You sent me a message this morning, though, that where are you? It's just a piece of metal. I was like, I've got that. Yeah. And you were like, maybe don't bother. I was like, no, I can do it. And it's like,
but like, honestly, I cannot believe that you pulled this round.
Yeah,
I cannot, like literally, it was like legs and a thing.
It wasn't even legs. It was just a monitor stand and an old chainsaw. But there you go. So that's done. So I could have pushed and put it out tonight, but it'd have been a little late. And Sunday's my normal update and my best upload day anyway. So that'll be out now when you're listening to this. Oh no, let's not lie. Realistically, it should be out now, but I'll probably be at this time when you're listening, stressing, trying to sort out a thumbnail. So
you almost definitely will.
Give it another hour or two. Because when I say 5 o'clock, it means 8. So yeah, I did that. I also got the car NCT today, or MOT'd, as you English folks would say, or you Welshies.
Do you know, every time I speak to you, you seem to be getting your car NCT'd.
Well, it failed last time, and they gave us a visual recheck, right? Which just means that I just failed on like shit things like a light bulb. I was like, okay, so they go fix these 5 things and just come back anytime you like for free within the next month. Come back multiple times if you want. I was like, yeah, I'll get that done. No worries. Obviously, day 28, and I'm like, right, best sort that car now.
Story of your life.
They've got like 7 things. First thing is like, is everything done? I was like, yeah, everything's done. Everything's done. First thing is like, that light's not done. I was like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, come back. I don't know how to change boot lights. So I ended up going to some like little shop. I'm like, oh, have you got bulbs for this? He's like, yeah, I'm shit at stuff like this today. So I figured it out, changed that, went back. It's like, right. He goes, now is everything done? So I don't want to waste my time. I was like, yeah, no problem. Everything's done. Guess the second part, that's not done. It's like, fuck's sake. So then that was it. So I had to book a whole retest, which took like another month. And obviously went there. Now it should have passed because it's been to the garage since then and everything's been done. The guy comes up and says, oh, you failed on a few things. I was like, oh, come on. Like, it's been to the garage like 4 times to get these shit jobs finished. And he's like, oh, I can't open any of the doors. I was like, did you press the unlock button? He's like, no. I was like, well, they all open.
There's your problem.
Yeah. I was like, they all open. He's like, well, can you come show me? I was like, yeah, if you just hit that button there that like, you know, unlocks it, then they all open and the boot does as well. He's like, oh, does the other door open? Yeah, all the doors open. Does the boot open?
Because when you say that doors open, when I came to see you,
no, so wait. One
of the doors didn't open.
No, now wait. Okay, so there's a few things with the car. The passenger side door doesn't open from the inside, right? But that was new. That wasn't like that when you were there. It was the driver's side door didn't open from the inside. The back left door doesn't open from the inside. But that's the way the baby goes. So that doesn't matter. And the back right door only opens if you give it a quick little knock first. So
So if the
I
car
fixed the
bursts into
driver's side.
flames, like, you know, that's
Oh, well, 2 of us
everyone's.
are dying. I'm
Yeah.
fine. Kira and the baby are gone, and that's fine. You know, do you know what I mean? So I have to swim around and let them out if we crash into the sea. But no, like, so as soon as I've spent like wherever it was fixing the driver's side door, then like literally the next day the passenger door went ping. I was like, oh fuck off. But so and he's like, does that back right door open? Because you know it failed on the last NCT. I was like, oh yeah. And I made sure to already have given it a pre-knock before you tested it. You see?
Oh, right, yeah,
So,
yeah,
big brain.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so that passed today. But I got that done as well as doing the big video. And then the shop's obviously been open today. We've had our new staff member in now. He's on his 3rd week. So
Amazing.
he's cooking along nicely. And yeah, it's all going well. I'm through the 50s now for the tournament, knocking on 60 tickets. We've still got a month to go. So I hope we'll
So
make the biggest yet.
remind people how they can get tickets if they want to come along.
If you go onto www.broadswordwargaming.com and go into the live events tab, there's a space there for a tournament running April the 26th and 27th at Brafey House Hotel Resort Spa, based over in Castlebar, flying to Knock Airport. You can get public transport everywhere. And yeah, €60 gets you a ticket to the biggest and bestest of all the tournaments in Ireland. We've got sponsors now officially done by Siege Scenics and Warmag. I've got a few special guests coming to this one as well. So yeah, it's going to be the biggest one yet. And I should, if we get to past 62 or something, we'll have the biggest in Ireland, beating my old record of 59 or 60.
Amazing.
So,
Wait, and there's still time for that as well, isn't there? You know, it's
I've got
still
a full month, and there's still plenty of people because I think the fact they know there's more tickets, everyone hasn't like immediately FOMO bought them like they've had to before.
yeah.
So still
Man,
those people are like,
you should have said there's only 50 tickets.
next time I'm going to go,
should.
okay, we've only got 60 tickets. And then they'll all buy 60. And I go, oh, miraculously, we've got
Oh,
space for 60 more.
I've got more space. Oh,
Yeah,
I've
I've got space for 5 more.
The venue.
5 if you buy now.
It's almost like, you know, we've done this before or something.
Yeah, I know. I thought I'd give everyone the chance, and then it's backfired because everyone's like, oh, we'll get them later. But
yeah,
what I'm worried about happening now is like, if the week before I'm at like 80 or something, what if like 20 more people buy a ticket? I'm gonna have to actually cap it because like
you're not got enough terrain and
I need to prep tables and terrain, right? I'm not prepped for 128 people right now. I've got about 80, so I think I've got 42 tables, or 43 tables, so 86 right now. But yeah, what if I get like 10 in the last week? I'm like, shit. But yes, it's great news anyway. So it's been
good news. It's good
news. Weird long day of all sorts of bits. But I also did another video for Battle Systems last week, so that I just need to wait for a few changes to the sponsory bit. So I should have a video this Sunday, next Sunday, and then I've got a pile of Shane 3.0 coming the week after. That's already filmed. So I think I've got 3 videos in a row.
And you've not done anything for 40 days prior to that, but then a video a week.
Yeah, and then just decided to do 2 in a week.
Amazing.
Yeah. What about you then? What have you been up to?
do you know,
I think I know what you've been up to over there. You know what I mean? Just shedding and stuff.
Shed stuff. Yeah. Do you know what? Like, because it's been quite nice weather. Like last weekend, I spent a lot of time out in the garden and things, and little, you know, kids just love spending time outside, don't they? Like Ethan, as soon as he comes downstairs now, he's like, I want to go outside, and he loves, like, as soon as he comes outside as well, he'll always comes to the side door of the garage and he's like banging on the door, and he's like, I want to go in the garage. He wants to come and like see everything. So like 2 nights this week, we've ended up having to come in here to eat his dinner because like he's just been obsessed with coming in here. So like,
Really?
sat on my desk like eating dinner at my,
I guess it's like dad's space, isn't he? He likes to go in where, like,
and he's
Daddy
like,
hangs out.
I want to see the trolls. I want to see the werewolf. And then he looks at you. Oh, that's scary. Oh, that one looks nice. You know, he looks at them and stuff. So I'm indoctrinating him now into this stuff and getting him involved with it now. So that's been really nice. But yeah, because we were kind of outside a lot last weekend, like I tidied the little workshop part of the garage, which was really good. That's been bugging me for a while. Got rid of a few just bits that, you know, we don't really, that you just end up keeping junk, don't you?
Yeah, you just keep crap,
I also put, you can't really see it, I put my new chair together, which has been sat there since tail end of last year. The chair, very nice.
Well, you are. I have a chair.
Well, king of the castle. So yeah, I've got a new chair, and it's I really regret not doing it sooner, which is kind of part of the topic of it. That's one. That's one. I'll keep that for later.
I'm just going to say, I have the same chair because I recognise it. And I've kept mine at the shop. I've also got one of those tables. That's at the shop. I'm not bringing them back here to get ruined. Because Kira's like, oh, I love a new chair. I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, by the way. Yesterday, Kira did a charity stream. and
Oh yeah.
and the punishment for hitting such a big goal was I had to get a cake in the face. So this is all cream.
And weren't you in bed at the time?
Yeah, I was actually asleep. I had to solo the baby all evening and do solo baby bedtime. I was like, right, and I was not very well either. I was like, it's about 10 o'clock. I was like, I actually fell asleep. She comes bursting in at 20 past 10 going, oh, we've hit the goal and you lost. So you got to come get a cake in the face. I'm live right now. I was like, oh my God. So I went straight downstairs. And just like 2 minutes later, I was like awake at like 10:25. 10:28 was cake in the face. I was like, this is all a bit much.
Back to bed now. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's literally ruined this chair. She's like, oh, you haven't got that other chair at the studio. I was like, oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh, it's a bit hard to get back in the car.
No, it's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit awkward and heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit awkward.
Yeah. So yeah, what else have I done? Oh, I've 3D printed some stuff, which I'm doing some like bits of terrain. Also, I've got some stuff in my little old Elegoo Mars over here, which I'm doing for a video, which I'm gonna get out in the next week.
I believe you. When was your last video? Come on.
My last one was in November, end of November, early December.
2023 or what?
No, 2024 and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little video. I've got some little videos on the way. They're gonna happen. Like this one's almost fully done already.
I believe it when I see that. Will you have it out on Sunday or not? Will it be out today?
No, it won't be out on Sunday. It won't be out on Sunday because it's got to go out on a specific date, which I don't really want to say.
Oh, I see.
But, yeah.
Okay. Oh, so all right. Secret, super secret.
Yeah, super secret. So yeah, I've done that. Which took me a little bit of time this afternoon. What else have I been doing? I've started. I think I mentioned to you because I was tied in the other part of the garage. I want to do like a bit more woodworking and stuff. Like it's something I'm really interested in. I've just not really had the time to do. When I got made redundant, I got like a big payout from work, and I bought myself a new table saw and stuff. And I've not really I've done bits with it, but I've not really kind of had much time because I've not really had the space in there. So I've just been working on a few bits, and I'm just working on some like little paint racks. It's not glued together, but made myself little paint racks. Yeah. Right, so I'm making like little custom paint racks for certain situations. So that needs a little bit of work and a little bit of refining and things. But yeah, just experimenting with stuff and enjoying myself, just doing like little pottering bits like that. Just get like a bit of satisfaction from doing it. So yeah, apart from that, not done an awful lot. I'm away this weekend, going to see my mum and dad for Mother's Day, and it's my dad's birthday as well. So
oh bloody hell.
Yeah, so gonna go and do that, and then yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've been up to.
Well, there you go. We've caught up. That's it. What have we done? You've done loads actually. You sound kind of happy. What are you happy about?
I'm really. I don't know. Just having a good day today. Really good day.
Had a good day. I kind of had a good day. This morning, because I wasn't very well, and this morning it's been a good day. And I said to Kira there, I was like, oh, I actually feel good. Just the endorphin hit of doing a video, isn't it? And then it all goes downhill when it does shit.
Yeah, exactly. When that one does worse than the centipede.
Yeah, when it's 10 out of 10 again, and you go, oh Jesus Christ, then you know you've done shit. So I'll enjoy it whilst it's happening. I live it. It's like Schrodinger's video, isn't it? Because it's not yet live, but it's also not dead because it's not live. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You've got that lovely. Was it half an hour before YouTube starts showing you stats, and like you've got no idea how it's doing until like half an hour after it's live, and it's like, oh, it's 10 out of 10.
YouTube either goes, well done, this is doing great, or it goes, you should do better. This is doing worse than your normal videos.
Why didn't you make a good video?
Yeah, it seems less of your viewers are watching this video than normal, and it's like, so you can change the thumbnail or title, but sometimes people just don't want to watch it. Oh, thanks YouTube.
Here's a handy tip on what you could do next time: make a better video.
Find one that worked before and do that again. Okay,
just
I'll paint a box with Kira in the thumbnail.
yeah. Just do the classic Kira thumbnail though.
Leaning on something, you just do something about tools being shit or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, that's what we should do this video. It's a follow-up to your previous video.
Exactly. We should use this as a follow-up. I'll make this like a linked video to that or something.
Yeah. Right, we're 20 minutes in. What are we doing again? What's this video about?
So before we jump into the topic, we need to talk about our sponsors. Now, we're not going to just jump straight into Broadsword Wargaming because obviously they are the classic sponsor. Because not related whatsoever to Broadsword Wargaming at all. However, we do have a real life, genuine sponsor, and they've very kindly sponsored a little run of of videos of podcasts from us, and it is Fog of Wargaming, not Frog of Wargaming, like I said last week. I don't think I said it. I think I've just got like a lazy tongue, and I
No,
just didn't say it properly.
say fog.
Fog of Wargaming.
Say frog of wargaming.
Frog of Wargaming.
Say fog of wargaming.
Fog of Wargaming.
No, you haven't got a lazy tongue. You just said frog. Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't. Right. Fog of Wargaming. Fog of Wargaming. Fog of Wargaming. If that
I just
hasn't
say
got
fuck
you
off
like
wargaming now.
fuck off Wargaming. Fog of Wargaming. So, Fog of Wargaming is your go-to online store in the UK for historical miniatures, including bolt action, black powder, and many, many more. Perfect for wargamers and collectors passionate about historical wargaming. Do you like quite some of the like stuff that they sell?
I remember we looked, didn't we? And they do all like the Viking and Saxons and stuff.
Yes, so I'm a big fan of Victrix, like the Vikings. I've got a couple of sprues of those that are ready to go. I quite like the
Welsh.
What?
I bet you
yeah,
like whatever are they?
Yeah, so there's loads of stuff there that I really like, and they do postage from just £3 to anywhere in the UK. And there is also you get 10% off your order when you use the code SideQuests, which will pop down in the description below. SideQuests all in one in capital letters, and an extra 5% off when you buy 2 or more items, which is automatically applied at the checkout.
Jeez, 15% off if you buy 2 things using the code SideQuests.
Exactly. Amazing, isn't it? So you should really go and check out Fog of Wargaming, not Frog of Wargaming. But again, Rob, thanks so much for sponsoring this episode. Hopefully, please, we'll be sending loads of people to Fog of Wargaming. So please do make sure that you go and check Fog of Wargaming out, not Frog of Wargaming, because Frog of Wargaming is not a thing. Are you just checking now if Frog of Wargaming is a thing?
It's a YouTube channel and a TikTok.
Is it actually? We're not promoting them. This is Fog of Wargaming. So go and check out the description for links to the website, so you can go and check them out. Right? Have we talked enough about Fog of Wargaming? Do you want to talk about anybody else in the sponsor segment before we jump on to the topic? No, fine. Let's move on. Whilst we're here, I would like to talk about our Patreon, though I know we've already given it a little plug already, but there's no harm in giving it a second plug of the day. If you want to support us, you can go and check out our Patreon. We have got a lovely little community building on Discord now where you can suggest topics for videos. I've already seen some really cool ideas come through, which are topics that I think we will discuss in future videos. But it's just a nice place where we can share hobby and share tips on being dads as well. I think is something that has kind of come up quite frequently in there. I know that's topics that kind of come up quite frequently for us. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people that can relate really. So if you do want to support us anymore than just what you're doing now by watching and subscribing and clicking that little thumbs up button, then you can go and check out our Patreon as well. Right.
Yeah, baby. I just went on the Fog of War Games website and they've got us on there. Look, a little bit saying they sponsor us. Look, how nice is that?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's lovely. I'd have a little sneak. They've got the new John Blanche paint sets as well. Ooh.
Yes. Have you had a look at those?
I haven't played them yet. No, I haven't had a play yet. But yeah, have you got them?
I do.
I've got them in the shop, but I haven't used them.
I do.
Are you going to show us what's going on there? Go on. Are they any good? Have you used them yet?
Ta-da. Yeah. I've used volume 1. I've not used volume 2. But I think volume 1 is kind of looking at the color palette and stuff. But yeah, they're cool paints. I'm a big fan of Army Painter anyway. I think they make some really cool stuff. I think they've really changed what they're doing.
Changed.
So
You've changed. Army Painter
they've changed. Which we're going to kind of talk. That'll come back full circle in a bit when we discuss some of our hobby regrets, shall we say?
We've changed, I think. I actually listened to the first podcast we did, right?
Oh man,
and we were like, we sound scared. Now it's 24 minutes and we've done nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you were like, right, let's make sure we keep on track. Now it's just like, oh yeah, we just talk about
talk about bullshit.
I don't
basically.
know, whatever.
And it was like, we won't swear. That won't be our brand. It's like, well, I think you dropped the you dropped the C-bomb like episode 4, and it just went completely off track after that. But yeah, I think I think I've definitely changed. I don't think episode 1 is particularly representative of us anymore. But I think thing is, well, we were trying to work our way around the technology that we were using.
Tube technology. What's that?
Yeah,
Tenacious
exactly.
D. Yeah.
Loved it.
And they broke up now, didn't they? Tenacious D. That's sad.
Yeah, no, because yeah,
I
what
know.
did Kyle say? Said something.
Political.
Yeah.
Ooh. Um,
Can't talk about politics.
what we should talk about is this episode again. Wait, what are we doing? Oh yeah, talking about our hobby regrets.
So hobby regrets and things that we regret buying, and things that we and then the things that we don't regret buying, and things
Are
that
we
we
going
kind
to
of
try
wish
and basically
wish
stop
that we,
people wasting money then? Is that the plan here?
yeah, or and if you're not using something, things that you should be using and things that you should buy now. And this isn't like to shill products or anything. This is just genuinely products.
All of them are available at broadswordwargaming.com and Fog of War Games. Yeah,
exactly. But there are definitely products out there which I do regret buying. So the first one for me, and we've got a slight difference of opinion on this, but it's cheap airbrushes. Now I bought my first airbrush was like, I think it was about 80 quid. It had like the compressor, it had like the tank compressor, because everyone said you need to get a tank compressor. And it was like a really cheap Chinese airbrush. And I just had such a terrible time with it. Like, it just kept clogging. It was a nightmare to kind of disassemble. I get that, you don't want to be buying something top notch and premium straight away, because actually, do you know what, you might not like it.
agreed.
But I think there is definitely a middle ground with it. Don't buy the cheapest out there. Don't buy the top end. You don't need to spend sort of 400 quid on a real kind of top end airbrush. There is kind of definitely a middle ground. Just I just had such a terrible time with mine that it just put me off airbrushing for a very, very long time.
So
But you,
I think I bought my very first airbrush. If I did a video using that, I think it was painting and soldering or something. I had that airbrush. I bought an airbrush from like Amazon, same sort of thing, China with a shit. Didn't have a compressor tank or anything, just one with like 3 buttons that like overheats.
yeah.
So I used that. I had that for about 6 months and I was too scared to use it, right? So I don't understand airbrushing. So I did, one of my biggest videos is like trying to overcome that fear, right? And I'm just trying to show people like, look, it's okay. It's not that difficult. Here's the dead basics, right? And it did that video did well. I think a lot of people found that quite useful because it is scary. I was scared, right? But eventually I thought, okay, and I went on an airbrush course and I learned a lot on that. But I went with my cheap Chinese airbrush, right?
Did they laugh you out of the venue?
Yeah, they're like, what the hell are you doing here? I was like, oh, I don't know, really. I actually got a kidney stone whilst on the airbrush course. I had to go
Was
to
that
A&E.
the stress of taking your shit
Yeah,
airbrush?
I'm so embarrassed. Literally got a kidney stone. Well, and it's like,
Kidney stone.
I didn't. They were like, you need to go to A&E. I was like, no, I'll go to the walk-in. And she was like, oh, we took my blood pressure. And she's like, your blood. She's like, that's very high. You must be in a lot of pain. I was like, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty painful. So you're handling it quite well. I was like, yeah. She goes, we'll give you these meds then. So he basically gave me like morphine in a tablet. Went back to the airbrush course and just like this. Like, for ages. I remember like airbrushing thinking like I've got 2 sets of hands or something.
I am so gonna like isolate that and use that for the for the
You love to use me
thumbnail
with
of
stuff like that with thumbnails.
I
Yeah,
do
you
love it,
bastard.
yeah.
But so I had the cheap China one, right? And I can see why it's bad. For me personally, it was so shit that it kind of got me over the fear of ruining it or breaking it or something. Right? 'Cause it didn't matter. It was like 40 quid for that and the compressor. So I use it to learn with, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but you should look out for a couple of things about it. The first thing being, it mechanically, they are just shitter, right? So I moved from that to a Sparmax Max 4 using the little Sparmax Arison Mini, which again doesn't have a tank, it's just a little twiddly knob rather than buttons. And the difference that you could buy that from my shop now with the full airbrush, the tank, everything for about 250 euros or something, right? So what, 200 quid. And that is like where I would actually start if you wanted to start there, right? Because the cheap airbrushes that cost me 40 quid are no longer 40 quid. They're 80 quid now, right? 80 quid, 90 quid. They've gone up. So like you can't just buy ones for like 30 quid anymore. So if you're spending 100, you might as well spend 200 or 250. Honestly, I think that Sparmax is a brilliant place. It's a 0.4 mil nozzle, so it's a bit wider, so you don't struggle so much with any stuff. And the difference between the shit China one and that one is massive. You feel it in the machine because like mechanically it's so much better. It's tighter. You don't have as many problems because it's a better machine. So like for you there, if you had a really shit one and it starts clogging or it doesn't work properly or it sticks, it's because it's so shit. It's going to put you off doing it forever. So that is certainly the downside to that. The positive side is if you're worried you're going to ruin it, who cares, right? But when you make that jump, go to something better. So if you could financially afford that and it's, a budget friendly kind of something like the Sparmax or the iWatcher Eclipse or whatever, because then the next step up, I have the iWatcher HPC and the Jet Pro Plus, right? They were sent to me from the same company who did all the other videos. And that's I think about $1,000 or more for the setup. And I use it, but the difference between say the Sparmax and that is so much less than the difference between China and the Sparmax.
So China to Sparmax is massive jump, but then the difference from the Sparmax to that is not necessarily that big. Is what you're saying.
Like I would notice it only once you've used an airbrush a lot. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to spend $1,000 to begin with at all. 200 quid, something like that Sparmax or the harder Steinbach, whatever. I forget which one it is. Or I've only used the Eclipse and the Sparmax Max 4.
I've got the I can't remember what it's called. Harder Steinbach, the Evolution, I think it is.
That's it. Yeah, Evolution.
Yeah. I got an Evolution. I bought that. I got it as a Christmas. I know. And that's been great for me. That was a big jump up for me. I got sent, talking about because that's not a cheap airbrush either. I think that's probably 150 odd quid, maybe 160 quid on its own, maybe. I did get sent an airbrush by Gallery.
Oh, they messaged me, but I didn't take it with the Gallery or Gallery or something. Yeah,
the Gallery. Yeah. I don't know how you pronounce it, but the one from there, it's got two what do you call it? The pins, the needles, yeah. So a 0.2 and a 0.4, I think they are. And that's been a workhorse because it's not as expensive as the one that I kind of bought myself, sort of thing. It's almost like I'm not as worried about kind of damaging it or breaking it or something like that. So it does get quite a lot of use from me. So
now you are inevitably going to at some point need to fix, replace, or repair something on an airbrush, right?
Yes,
so
totally.
I've had a few things. Now there's this one company who, they've been lovely to me from the start, but airbrushes.com, right? They do based over in the UK, and they will refurb airbrushes and stuff for you. So Kira dropped the Sparmax on its nozzle, so bent the needle, and she dropped the Arisum. I had to get a new one, literally had to buy a new one, compressor onto a slate floor and crack the bottom of that. And I was changing something and I sheared, the little brass end on an airbrush, little spanner. I changed that, but you shouldn't go too tight because it shears it. I did and sheared it. So I sent both airbrushes to them. They both came back clean, new nozzles, new O-rings, because the O-rings will go at some point. So don't be afraid of that kind of thing happening because you can always get them fixed or get replacements or parts.
Yeah.
You can literally buy any part of an airbrush.
Yeah. My Evolution got I think I said to you, was it what night was it? Like Wednesday night, I think it was. That had been on my jobs list for so long because I'd clogged my my Evolution. It just wasn't working quite right. So I just kind of completely stripped it down. I've got a little ultrasonic cleaner, just to kind of properly clean it out. And now it works like a dream again.
Yeah,
it takes a bit of time though, and that's the thing. Like normally, do I spend 20 minutes or half an hour painting or building something? I'd probably prefer to do that than strip down and clean an airbrush. But
that's why I airbrush in blocks, right? So if I'm going to airbrush, I want to do a load of work. I don't want to just do one model really. Something to sort of showpiece like the Avatar or whatever. But I'll just airbrush and break the back of an army in one go with airbrushing, right? So, but if I had to offer, I feel like I'm quite experienced with the airbrush now.
Yeah.
And if I had to offer one piece of advice, it's just always clean it after. I know everyone says that, but cleaning it when it's still wet or whatever is so much easier than cleaning it when it's you've left it there for a week.
You
totally have to break it apart then, and then that's an absolute roadblock to hobbying because we always talk about this. Neither of us get any time. So like you say there, if you've got half an hour, do you want to spend half an hour cleaning and breaking down your airbrush, sticking the sonic cleaner before you even start, or do you spend 5 minutes after a session and get it
just
clean?
Give it a really good clean and get it sorted. Yeah,
just do that, and no matter what airbrush you use, if you do that, it will be annoying. So yeah, I pros and cons, right? So I get why you regret that. Personally, I didn't, but I think the majority of people would be doing themselves a disservice if they buy a really shit airbrush because it's going to be worse. You're going to have a worse experience, and you're probably just not going to bother.
So
right?
our advice is kind of go somewhere in between. You don't need to spend kind of top end money, but also don't go super cheap on it.
Recommendations from me: a Water Eclipse or a Spa Max Arison Mini compressor with a Max 4 or Max 3.5C or whatever. Max 4, I think, comes as a set, cheap enough as a set. Doesn't have everything you need, but has everything you need to get going. If you want to really refine it, then later on, sure. But you can do anything with that. So yeah, that's that. So hobby regret, probably, but not personally.
Fair enough.
How about that? There you go. Stamp of
go.
regret.
Done. Right.
Okay.
Next one. What have you got? Anything on your list that you regret? Or shall I? You can have a think.
I regret buying a camera, and it made me do YouTube, and it ruined everything. So don't buy a DSLR camera and think I'll do YouTube, because it ruins your hobby.
Man,
so don't.
Do you know,
don't do that.
I remember seeing your first battle report and being like, oh, so I don't even think it was your first battle report. I think it was like the trailer for your first battle report, and I was like, oh my god, look at the fucking production values on this. And then I think you realised how much work it was.
Jesus.
And you were like,
that person
oh
did like 260
God.
hours or something.
Yeah.
I will say I was one of the first channels, if not one of maybe the first channel, to do the whole like 5-cam setup thing. Do you remember? Like,
man, it looked incredible. Yeah.
But it's different now, isn't it?
But you've never done anything like that since.
I've done a few of them, but yeah, it was six years ago I started. Now 6 years on YouTube. So
but
I had actual real regrets though. One thing I don't regret doing, I regret not doing sooner, is buying a spray stick.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I've got the. I think they've changed it now. I've got the. I'm just trying.
You've got Mark 1 of you. The second one, swizzles around.
Yeah, I know, and I think that's something that I probably should get the new one. But I'm a big fan of the Citadel spray stick, as it's still.
I always thought it was a waste of money, but it's not.
And when because I talked about that in my big breakout video that's like on like 300,000 views or whatever it is now, and I said like this is one of the things that I don't regret buying. I think this is actually a really good tool, like, and people laugh at it, but my god, it's so good. As the new one got elastic bands over it. Now the elastic bands do crack, but I just bought literally I bought a big pack of like, I don't know, 200 elastic bands for, I don't know, £1.50 or something, and it just keeps going. Do you know what I mean?
It came with a ton of spares, so if I do it again, I'll only load up 5, right? Because you can kind of put 5 models on in one go if you want enough space to get around them. But I put all 10 on, and only put 5 models and switch, because yes, they do start to crack. But you could probably just do 5. But I've avoided it for years now. I've had the shop for 4 years, and I've had that product in stock, and I've never bought it because I just thought, who buys that? And I sell a couple. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh,
that's what the Games Workshop simps buy, because they buy everything.
Simps buy a spray stick. I just use a bit of wood or a bin lid, right? But I've been using a wood or bin lid for years. But you know what the spray stick lets you do? It lets you get everywhere in one go, or like a second coating, rather than like spraying the front, flipping them on the side, spraying the back, flipping on the other side, spraying the other side. Like, and then my bin is covered in shit, and I've got a piece of like 2x4 that's like 6 feet long in the back of my shop, when I can just have this little spray stick, and you can just ping the models on, and you can ping them off, and you can reload it whilst they're still wet, so you don't get to base rims. Oh, and you don't have to spray your base rims a weird color, so you don't have to paint them. Why I avoided that product for years, I don't know.
And people say, oh, just use a bit of stick, like with like double-sided tape. It's like, yeah, but then you've got to put double-sided tape on every time that you do it, and like replace
blue
it.
Tack's annoying.
Or blue tack. I don't like using blue tack because it does always fall off. I'm not a fan of it. The only other thing that I would potentially do now is use magnets because I magnetize like literally everything that like, as soon as I've kind of built it, I put a magnet on the bottom just so that I've got, I can stick it in a box, a magnetized box. That's going to be one that I'll talk about later. But I really like magnetizing models now. So just having a spray stick with like a magnet on it would be a good way of doing that. But the Citadel spray stick, absolute winner for me.
They've also got a bit now where you can add like something else, the sub assembly holder, and you can put heads on and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
You could just use bits of sprue, but but if you want to be a Games Workshop simp, and any time I'm not having a go at Games Workshop at all, but I'm having a go at the people who have a go about you liking Games Workshop. So anytime that you say that you like a Games Workshop product, people are like, you're just a simp, something better.
I
It's
really
like,
like
no,
Space Marines. Simp.
simp,
Yeah.
yeah, Games Workshop bootlicker, man. It's like, no, I just like their products. Like, you know, is that a crime? I, I know we keep saying we're going to do the YouTube rant video. I'm not quite ready for it yet.
You know,
Um,
no, what
but
you need to
it's
do, you need to put a video out and it do shit and get slagged off. Then you're
and
ready.
then I'll do it. Yeah, like that. That's why I've not done any videos since December. I don't like. I won't do videos on stuff that I don't like because
Same, man.
why would I why would I waste my time? So like whenever I say I like something, it's like I'm not bullshitting. It's like because I genuinely like it. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
you like War Mag, do you?
No, you're like Walmart. Oh, this is just an advert. It's like no, it's because the product is good. Like you know, why would I shit on a good product that does exactly what I need it to?
So spray stick does spray stick. So spray stick, we both give it a positive. I'm very
Yes.
new to the spray stick, but I
Oh
had to
man,
paint.
I'm a
I had to
spray
spray like
stick
150
veteran.
models recently. It was amazing.
I probably need to invest in the new one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
my old one is like it's thick with paint now.
oh, sexy.
Yeah,
You should do the
thick.
de-thickening of paint.
Do you think? Oh, like stick it in like a stripper.
Yeah, just put it on. I'm doing an Instagram short of that. There you go.
Oh
Look.
yeah, yeah. I'll do that. I'll do that.
How to strip.
Next regret is the buying the hot the Proxon hot wire cutter.
Ooh.
Now it's a really good product and it does exactly what it says on the tin. You know, it is the best on the market for that. The reason I regret it is I probably don't need it for what I do or what I have done. Like I've everything that I have done with foam, I could have probably done it with a knife or with a craft knife or something like that. Now, if I did more foam, like, you know, obviously Lockie does a huge amount with like foam crafting and stuff like that, he would absolutely get that value out of it. Personally, I don't think I have. And at the moment, I think since I've maybe used it once or twice since I've been in this shed, but like, you know, I've been in here for what, 2 and a bit years now, and I've barely had any use out of it. Now, when I come to do some more foam crafting, then yeah, absolutely, I will get loads more use out of it. But for me, it's one of those that I thought, you know, I'd get more use out of it, but I just haven't. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a regret, but I think it's something that I have spent money on that I've definitely not got my value back out of yet.
It's been on my list actually. So I do, I do a few more ball builds than you do in a different kind of way, right? So
yeah.
And it's certainly, I think, the kind of thing that's held me back from doing more with foam. I've only lightly, gently touched on foam, carving stuff. I've done a few carving bits. I did some like circles in that Colosseum video I did, and I've made a few like support struts. We built those houses for Lockie as well. So like, and I have the foam here, and I'd like to do more, but I think I don't have a hot wire cutter or a Proxon. So I'm having to use knives and stuff and set squares, and you can never make a square, right? So
No.
it's been on my list to get for a while, but much like you, my fear would be like, I'm not very tools orientated. What would happen with me? It would sit in the back of a shelf for a year until I mustered up the courage to use it. And then I'd probably just be shit at it and then not use it. But
yeah,
it is something I've thought about quite a lot. But annoyingly, foam also isn't easily available here, really.
no,
in Ireland.
I sent you your
You did.
first like load, didn't I?
Yeah,
Because
you did
I've got
indeed.
quite a good supplier, which is sort of fairly local to me. But
I'd love to try that like 35 mil, 50 mil, 100 mil insulation foam and make big buildings. Like, do you remember we did that thing for Lockie? And who was it? Eric's
yeah.
Hobby Workshop did an amazing thing. And
Oh man,
like,
yeah.
that one does a lot with foam cutting. Do you know what I mean? All these people, and it looks amazing. I could do that had I the tool and also the time and the inclination to do it, I think.
Yeah,
But,
I think for me, it's as I say, it's not that it's a bad tool in itself. It's just that I don't have the time and things to use it. Now that may change. I'd like to think that in the future I will have more time. I'll be able to do a little bit more kind of hobby. I will be able to do. I'd like to do. I'd love to build more boards. That's what I would love to do. Like I built this double-sided board here, which I am going to revisit at some stage.
oh, nice.
This one I found is too heavy and it's a little bit cumbersome, so I want to make something a little bit lighter weight that's kind of easy to store. So I've got some ideas around that, but yeah, it's something that I would like to kind of get back into doing, and if I have the opportunities. But the thing is, you a bit like yourself, when you build boards, you need somewhere to store them, and it's space that I just don't have. Like, thankfully, you've got that big room in the
Yeah,
back,
mate.
but
I've
but you've
recently
got
hung them on
all
the
the boards
wall.
like all out on the floor, sort of thing.
I did until last week. I've hung them all on the wall now. But
Oh,
mate,
cool.
they were taking up. I had like what 10, 12 kill team size boards,
Yeah, yeah.
like Coliseum, 2 6x4s, like literally out on the floor. It took up like
Loads of space.
a lot of square meterage. But now the 11 of them, everything's designed so I could hang it. I just never have, and they're all hung
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So they're all up on the wall. So I've got floor back. I filled the floor since with other shit, but I've got the floor back.
As you do.
But
Yeah,
my concern about the Proxon for me is you're a very toolsy kind of guy, right? You like I don't like a drill. Do you know what I mean? You like stuff like that.
Yeah, you didn't have a drill, did you, to do the?
No, I had to borrow Kira's
robot?
dad's drill. I haven't got tools. I had to do the little Kira's pig tool set to do this video. I don't own tools. That's not my thing. Allen key's fine.
I like tools.
I hate that. So would I even use a Proxon? And you know me.
I think yeah, maybe.
Would I set it up? Would I use it? And then would I just cut my own finger off? Can you cut your finger off on it?
No, you can't really cut your finger off. It just gets
hot.
hot.
You really tried.
You have to really go some to cut your finger off with a Proxon. I think there's a video in that somewhere.
Can I cut my finger off? Really trying.
I think the wire would snap before it cut your finger off.
Don't do that at home, by the way, people.
That's definitely not a suggestion.
So regret from you. So I think that would be a regret from me.
Yeah. As I say, it's not that it's a bad product whatsoever. I think if you like the idea of doing foam carving and foam cutting and building loads of, you've got plans to build loads of terrain with foam, I think it's totally worth it. However, if you just want to have a bit of a dabble with it, or build a couple of little terrain like ruins and stuff like that, just do it with a craft knife. Don't invest
do loads
money
in a craft knife or a hot wire cutter, even in your hand, like a handheld or something. I probably get that.
They're a lot cheaper. I know Michael from that one videos. He's got one of the little handheld cutters, and he does some wicked stuff with just that.
Yeah, I think I'd like one of them. I think I'd use that. Do you know what I mean?
And I think, you can pick them up for about 30, 40 quid. It doesn't feel like quite such a heavy investment as the Proxon. And it's something that you can chuck in a drawer, whereas the Proxon is a big, bulky machine. And it takes up a lot of space, a lot of real estate. And when space is at premium, I'm really lucky that I've got like half a garage like dedicated to this stuff. But like already I feel like I'm like really claustrophobic with stuff in here because I've just got so much stuff.
Yeah,
everywhere.
And most people don't, right? Most of us don't.
Yeah, exactly. Normally you've got a little
I'm in
corner
the kitchen,
of,
like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, little corner of a room or something, or a lap tray or something like that. So you definitely don't need one.
I've actually, you just remind you of a hobby regret for me.
Oh, go on, then. Hit me with it.
And I do, like we just said, boards. I do boards, right? I build quite a lot of them. And do you know what I got? And I've only ever really used it once or twice, and I just don't like it. And maybe I should try again. I've used it a few times. Is a grass applicator.
Oh, do you not like it?
No, I've used a couple of different types. Do you know what I just prefer to do? Like
tufts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get a box of like 100 tufts from like Siege Scenics or Geek Gaming or Gamers Grass for like £5, right? And you can get a couple of different boxes with a couple of different sizes. They all come in different sizes. Just use those.
Yes.
Fucking messy as well. It's so messy.
It is.
I feel like I breathe in
it is
endless.
Really
like,
messy.
Like in my lungs, I've got like probably enough 2 mil tufts in my lungs.
Little plastic fibers like breathed in.
Yeah, that can't be good, right?
No. I agree. I think the effect is great.
If you can use it properly, for a start.
If you can use it properly. So one of the things that I realized I was when I first started, because I've got one, I do quite like it. And I've not made that many boards, but what I was doing wrong is I was holding it far too far away from the board. You need to have it like literally to the point where it's really, really close. And especially when you're building, when you trying to do like mini bases or something like that, you're going to have a really bad time with it. But doing, you need to be able to have that space to get so close to it, a lot closer than you think. Otherwise, it's gonna, all kind of fall flat. And then if it sits flat and you glue, you're not gonna get that grass effect. It's just gonna look awful. Yeah. So yeah, I do see what you're saying. Green Stuff World, they do make like a little box that you can put like for making your own tufts and things and for putting minis. And you've got like a little applicator inside and you put the grass on top and then you attach the minis or whatever you want to put the grass onto on the top of the box. You close the box and then you switch it on, and so you don't get all the grass going everywhere. Um, I'm not afraid to say I'm not a big fan of Green Stuff World, if I'm completely honest.
I think most
Um,
people. I think they've had their
they've had their kind
interesting
of
times.
controversies and things like that. So I'm not a big fan of the brand, but that product does look quite good.
Probably
I
find it
must
somewhere
admit.
else.
But yeah, it's the same kind of applicator as World War Scenics, and I'm sure you could just make some sort of box that would
See,
what
you see, that's
what.
never me. Making a box is just me. I'd
Yeah,
rather buy the
yeah,
product,
yeah,
right?
maybe yeah.
Like,
You could buy a box to stick it in.
I
Do you know
remember
what I mean?
when Luke used to do his tufts and stuff, and they before they like moved and
Tufts.
whatever they did all the tufts. Yeah, they had like a machine in like his spare bedroom which did it. It was like this big like cranky thing, but if you touched it anywhere, you got electrocuted. So
Yeah.
I used to get electrocuted all the time. There, it's like, will you make some tufts? Yeah, okay. Jesus Christ. So that's the problem with making stuff at home. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think there is a use for applicator, and I have done it. Kira and I did some test bases. I've used it to make areas of like tufts. Basically, I got like baking paper, put some base ready glue on, and used it on that, and then
Mm.
scraped it off and put it on. But since then, I made Kira some awesome Stormcast bases, and they're just like loads of tufts with flowers and stuff. And you just get
Yeah, yeah.
enough that it just looks awesome. So like, you know, I get there's
I,
a place for them. I also prefer foam flock anyway.
Yeah, I think
So
for boards and things, I think foam flock looks great. I think for, as you say, for mini bases, tufts. I love the I can't remember which one it is now. I like there's some an army painter color in particular I really like. But gamers grass, there's just such a
Games Custom is
huge
awesome.
variety. Now they did send me some, but since then I have gone and bought more of the same kind to make sure that obviously all my army looks all the same. But they make such an amazing variety of tufts and of different sizes and lengths, and yeah, just a brilliant product.
Only recently they've released a rack actually. So
Mm.
they didn't have a display rack when I first bought their stuff, which is annoying. And I said, "Oh, have you got a rack?" And they said, "Oh yeah, we listened to you guys. Here we go. We've got a display rack." So I now have a display rack of all their stuff. I also really
Nice.
like the little ruins they do. They do like temple ruins, rock ruins, stuff like that, which are really nice basing accessories.
And
So game,
they make pure bases as well, like pre-made bases, don't they?
yes, they do. Which some people don't like. They can be expensive-ish. I think we're about 11 euros or something for 8 of them or
Mm.
whatever. But if you're not into base making and you want to make like a kill team or a Warcry warband, yes, right.
Yeah,
I've got my
totally.
Skyrim models, and I'm going to use the snowy ones they've got, just because I can then use the same. They're not all identical, but I've got two that are almost identical, and I can use one for this glowy Dragonborn, dragon.
Yes.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah,
Dragonborn.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dragonborn, and one for the non one. Yeah, so yeah, it's cool. Like, so yeah, they're a really good company who do lots of stuff. But then there's also like Siege Scenics are new out now. Geek Gaming do stuff. Army Painter do anyway does stuff now.
Siege
Um,
Scenics.
uh,
Did you say Siege Scenics?
yeah. We
Yeah.
just started stocking them as well, actually. So yeah, any tufts are great. So yeah, static gas applicator. I don't think most people need one. Even
Yeah.
I, building board, don't really use it. So
Yeah.
it feels
No.
a bit of a regret of mine, and I did buy that too.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
Fair enough. So my next regret, and it's one that I kind of listened to people online too much about this when I first started, and it is buying cheap synthetic brushes to start painting. Now I think part of it was on me because people say just get cheap brushes to begin with. You won't know the difference. You'll if you buy expensive brushes, you'll just ruin them. And that kind of stuck with me for I don't know, maybe like 6 months or something when I first kind of came back into the hobby. And I just think that I was almost like held back a little bit by the quality of my
you
shit
will be.
brushes.
Yeah,
And and as soon as I invested in something that it was even not like a top end, like, I wasn't spending like a tenner a brush or something like that, but like something even kind of mid range. I just noticed that my painting just got so much better, like within overnight essentially. So I think, cheap synthetic brushes do absolutely have their place. So for things like washes,
yeah.
great for that.
Oils, enamels.
Oils, speed paints, anything that's going to kind of suck up into the ferrule that you don't want to ruin kind of good brushes with, amazing for. So they do absolutely have their place. But I try to do all of my painting with crap brushes, and I just really felt that kept me, like, sort of held me back a lot.
I think it's much like we said with the airbrush, right? Like you know
Yeah.
you're starting, you're like handicapping yourself initially by buying and using. So like I always get people say I could buy 3 brushes on Amazon for £1, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I did get a load from a company like that and use it in a video, and all of them were shit.
Mm,
Like I would use it for terrain or like
yeah, yeah.
basing glue, right? And like I have brushes, and that is a thing that people are afraid of, and I was for a long time. It's like I've got nice brushes, I'm scared to use them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't mind using those shit synthetic brushes, as I call bitch brushes, right? I use them to
Yes,
mix
yeah,
my
yeah.
airbrush paints or jam base glues on or whatever, or, ruin them. But when I want to actually paint, I don't mind. Games Workshop brushes are fine. Army Painter brushes are fine. Any of those
Hmm.
are absolutely fine for like standard brushes. Yes, you can buy cheaper ones for the same kind of thing. Of course you can. But I do have nice brushes I use, and I use them quite regularly, and they have made a difference, I think, to my painting,
Hmm.
because you have better control. There's like, you might like, if you're a reasonable painter, you might like that, how tough things are or how soft the edges are. It
Hmm.
depends what you're doing, right? I know a lot of people use like soft brushes for kind of an endless glazing and stuff like that. And there's synthetic versus uh
Uh,
sable.
yeah.
So there's lots of different brushes, but yeah, really cheap brushes, much like a really cheap airbrush or any kind of really cheap shit tools, to be honest,
Hmm.
will frustrate you probably more than they should. And I think once you get past absolute beginner as a painter, you need better than
And
a
and
shit
I
brush.
think that's literally the attitude I should have had. It's like not go sort of 6 months into my painting journey using those shit brushes. It should have been for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Use the shit
Watch his
brushes.
paintbrush.
And
That's why Army Painter and Games Workshop give you the starter brush, right?
yes,
It's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
So
shit, but it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter because that one's not last. Yeah, and it's I feel like using those, you are absolutely handicapping yourself. But by buying, like, how much is Games Workshop brush these
I
days?
don't know. Like,
About six,
depends what
seven
size you
quid,
are.
something like
Anything between
that.
4 quid and 8 quid or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and same with like Army Painter. They make a kind of a good range of brushes now. That's kind of the next stepping stone. They're not really top end. You're not paying kind of 10, 12 pounds a brush for them. You're kind of paying £4 to £8, something like that.
Yep.
But they are they are a proper step on from those really cheap, shitty brushes that you
Yeah.
can get. So definitely, once you kind of got past the point of sticking the whole, end of the brush
Yeah.
into your paint pot and
Eating
things, and
it.
like scooping it out like you do with butter or something like that.
Yeah.
Once you've got past that point, man, just get some slightly better brushes.
Yeah, it could be from anywhere, right? Art shops, anything, whatever. But
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
and for dry brushing, use nice things like a lot of people do, and I use them now. Like makeup brushes are quite nice,
Makeup. Oh yeah, I've got a load of makeup brushes, and do you know what? They last pretty well as well.
and they're pretty cheap. Now,
Yeah.
well, some of them can be cheap, but let's be honest, not all makeup is but expensive, right? Makeup is an expensive world.
Yeah.
So, but yes, so that's that. What have I got? Any more regrets?
So
Not a regret. I'm going to give you a recommendation.
go on then.
I'm going to give you one I don't regret, and I don't know why I never used it way earlier. And a lot of people come in and ask me, and I immediately always recommend getting one, is a wet palette.
Oh yes,
Right.
totally.
So I have the shop, so I see all these people come in and they tell me, oh, I've seen online, you don't need a wet palette. And I'm like, you're kind of wrong, to be honest. Just get one.
There is a painter that I've got a lot of admiration for, which is Tommy Sewell. And he doesn't use and I think he quite famously went on another, I can't remember who it was now, another podcast, and he was kind of like, you don't need a wet palette. I never use one, and I'm a great painter and stuff like that. That's great, but for the average painter, I think a wet palette will level up your painting no end.
Yeah, there's various reasons that I think of that. One is it allows you to blend paints better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which a lot of us mixing colors, we don't tend to do it. I'd rather just buy, like we said before, a light blue, a dark blue, and a medium blue. But if you want to start putting, turn those 3 into 5, you can blend that way. Kira does a lot of skin, and she always uses wet palettes for skin.
Yeah,
and she's good at skin blending. So that is really good. I think a lot of people are under the misconception that like you put your paint on there, you open it up 3 weeks later, and it should still be wet.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what a wet palette's for.
But it's there, it'll keep it workable for a lot longer as well. If you put it on a tile or something, like, because that's what I used to use, like just a little
Tile, yeah,
tile, and I used to scrape the paint off once it would kind of all completely caked, and start again. But as soon as I started using wet palette, and I used a homemade one to begin with, and it was just like an absolute game changer. In terms of just keeping your your paint wet for longer, especially when you batch painting and things like that. You're constantly having to go and add more water, and obviously the more water you add to it's drying out, and then you kind of rehydrating it, drying out, rehydrating it. Your paint loses some of that kind of consistency that you want from it. So by having a wet palette, it just kind of keeps it wet. It's not going to keep it wet indefinitely, and over time, if you've left your wet palette for a couple of days, you come back to it, the paint has separated, doesn't it? You can see like the
It's separated in a session.
pigmentation. Yeah, within the session. So you do need to kind of keep mixing it up and things like that. But yeah, so it's not there as a long-term solution. It is there as I noticed, I saw a huge jump up in my painting standard as soon as I started using a wet palette.
I can't think back to using a palette. Do you know what I used to use? A palette or the little plastic bits from a blister pack?
Yes, yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I've seen people in the shop bringing a piece of cardboard.
Oh, but that would
Yes,
soak
exactly.
up all the.
I was literally like, oh my god! At least the games where she did those like palette sheet things.
Yes,
I was like, just have one of these. It's like, oh, is that
have they discontinued those now?
I don't know. Yes, I think so. Yeah, they've done the little servo wet palette things, haven't they? Now.
Yes, yeah.
But yes,
Which
like rubber pallets. Actually, not wet
is it
palette.
slightly better? But yeah,
It's better. But I didn't mind. I just like it's like, oh, do I have to pay for it? I was like, mate, I'm just going to give you this because don't use cardboard to paint. He's like, oh yeah, but I was like, no, like I know someone on the internet's probably told you that's good, but like you're just immediately drying your paint out by you sticking on
the only thing that I would use cardboard for is if I'm dry brushing terrain. And
yeah, that's it. With a giant brush.
I wouldn't even do it on for minis. I wouldn't use cardboard.
No, me neither. Never. So, do you know what I mean? So just get a wet palette. You can get them again from any brand. You can make one yourself. I'm not into making shit myself. I'm too crap and I can't be bothered. But, by the time I bought a tub and a sponge and whatever, you can get one again for someone like Army Painter. I think we sell them for like 20 euros or something, 22 euros. Probably like 12 quid in England. Just get
I've got the big Army Painter one for my desk in here, and then I've got the little I got an old Redgrass Games one.
I've got a Redgrass version one. I
use in the house for
there's loads. Kira's got one
indoors.
What's the company called? I can't remember now. There's loads of them now. Just get a wet palette. Just do it. Like
just
do it.
Just great.
Because even if anything, if you're not that great a painter, I bet it'll make you over thin your paints more than you normally would, and I bet that's probably good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you overfill your wet palette, it'll be too wet, and your paint will be over thinned more than it should. But if you're not thinning it enough, it's probably better. So get a wet palette.
Definitely, 100%. And then last thing that is on my list for as a regret, because that one's obviously a positive. This is a negative. Is the original mega paint set from Army Painter. Now,
I always see posts of people going like, "Oh, I just bought this Army Painter set for 12 quid. It's 900 paints." Yes, because it's awful.
And I think obviously Army Painter have changed a lot recently. The Fanatic paint. I've talked about it in a previous episode. I'm a big fan of Fanatics range. It's probably what I use, I don't know, 60% of the time, 70% of the time at the moment. Big fans. But there's a couple of reasons that I regret buying it. A, the paints were crap, but B, not all of them. So I'd say, I don't know, it's 50-50 split. Some were really good, some were really crap. But the biggest regret for me, the reason I probably wouldn't buy a full paint set now is that there's so many of the colours that I've just probably never opened, never used.
You don't use Sphincter Pink.
Rim brown.
Anus pores. Anal gland.
Pube black.
Speak for yourself. Pube grey. Where?
Pube ginger.
Hey, leave the gingers out.
But there are so many colors within that set that I have just never and obviously it just depends what you're painting, and like we said this in previous episodes, like if for me, like the vast majority of stuff that I paint is kind of drab muted colors, so the browns, greens, grays, the bone colors, that's the sort of stuff that I get a huge use a lot of. But things
natural
like
colors, right?
Yeah, natural. But then purples, yellows, bright greens, things like that I very, very rarely use. So actually buying a paint set, you think you're kind of saving money, but if you're not using 30% of the paints that are included in that set, then are you really saving money? Whereas you could have just bought the ones that you want separately. So that's kind of my attitude. That's not necessarily just an Army Paints thing. That's just a general paint thing.
I, I,
Um,
I hadn't thought about that till you said it, but actually, yeah, I have a paint set. I bought when I first was airbrushing and stuff. I bought the full Vallejo air range, Vallejo
mm,
game color air range or model color air range. That's the old one now, but I used it for a bit. But I used like 3 colors out of it, and air paints. I think I wouldn't buy again ever.
okay,
Because
that's
you have to like
interesting.
do work to air paints. Yeah, I don't know if I regret because I've not done it in a long time, but I feel like you can't really use generally. You can, but you can't really use air paints as a with a paintbrush, right? Because they're quite thin,
Yeah, yeah,
particularly thin. Um, but you can use normal paints through an airbrush, and I always find my air paints you still need to use thinner or flow improver. Do you know what I mean?
it's not
So
just a straight out the box using
no,
them
so I
sort of
might
thing.
just the only ones that I've known that actually straight out of the box were called drop paints by someone say Scale 75. I tested a few of those. They were very good. They were just very thin paints. But
Hmm.
yeah, I, I have I airbrush a lot. I have a full airbrush paint range and I never use it. Not only because of the reason, like you said there, like loads of weird colors, but also they're only really specific to airbrushes. They still need doing. And I can't really use them with the brush, but I can always thin a normal paint down. So
Yeah,
I think once you learn to airbrush a bit and you learn to play with consistencies, why? Maybe I'm wrong. If you're out there and you have an airbrush set and you love it and you airbrush more than I do, fine, sure.
yeah.
I
Let's
can
know.
I
Let us
can
know in
see
the
value in
comments.
it, but
Yeah,
I don't see the value in it myself. So yeah, that's kind of a regret of mine. That was 100 quid down the bin, right? Because like you
mm,
say, I've used 5 colors and I just use whatever else instead. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Paint ranges are an interesting one.
hmm,
The only argument to what you say there is I think if you don't ever try something new, you'll never
hmm.
try it. So if you don't have a pink there, do you know what I mean? You need to task yourself with a miniature and go, okay, I'm going to paint a space marine using pink
Yeah,
and
and
purple.
that's kind of what I did with the purples in the end. I was like, right, what can I use purple on? And it was my Haradrim that I ended up using.
It was this beautiful Emperor's Children,
Yeah,
purple and
yeah,
pink, purple, pink and teal, right? So
yeah,
we all have colors we like. I love airbrushing purple. Um, and stuff like soul drinkers. I like anything purple's cool. So,
mm,
but yeah, I think we all like different colors. We definitely said this before. We all like different colors. But yeah, if you don't have the paints or don't ever buy them, you'll never use them.
yeah, yeah. I suppose it
Counter argument.
swings and roundabouts there.
Yeah.
And then I want to finish on a positive,
Because you've been
and
Mr. Negative today. Yeah.
I know I have. I think there's kind of more things that
I
maybe
hate.
not necessarily more things that I regret buying, but one of the things that I do not regret buying whatsoever is Warmag. I think they make an
Oh, here we go.
absolutely
Here he goes
properly
again.
shilling.
Old
But
shill.
so they did send me stuff, but since then I have bought more stuff from them. So I liked it so much that I did buy more stuff, um, because it like most of my minis now are, as I say, everything new. As soon as it's kind of assembled, I'll stick a magnet on it because I can just chuck it in a magnetized box.
Do you use the ones that fit in the base as opposed to like
No,
on the bottom of them?
generally not, because a lot of the mini Middle Earth bases have got like the little grooves. Yeah, so it raises them up a little bit. But the other thing that I really like about them is they add like that little bit of weight to the base as well. So when you've got, especially 28 mil, um, or
Metal.
or yeah, or even like plastics and stuff. Sometimes they're just that little bit light, and you just need that little bit of weight to them, and it just adds just enough weight to make them a little bit more sturdy and a little bit more kind of less likely to fall over if you stick them slightly on a hill. But it's just for kind of storing minis and stuff like that. It's just a great product. I absolutely love it.
See,
And
I'm yet to. I like the product, right? I think it's very good. I think it's good. They sponsored an event and a lot of people use them. Kira really likes them. I'm yet to really jump in now. Now they're sending me some stuff for a video I'm doing in a few weeks, and I'm keen to try it because I do hear really good things and I do like it. I did, back in many moons ago, make my own little metal sheet with
mhm.
drill a little magnet. I hate anything that takes me time, right?
But everyone used the little neodymium magnets,
Yeah.
but the problem with those is as soon as you put like bases next to each other, they go like and like
Ping. Yeah.
and like ping and like if you especially playing Middle Earth things when you've got kind of a lot of people and the positioning is really really important, and as soon as like something goes, you just end up with like this little football of models
Yeah.
all kind of
Yeah.
magnetized together by the base, and you don't know where things were originally. And I don't like them. That doesn't happen with Warmag, and also neodymium magnets. If you swallow them, like accidentally, or your kid swallows them, or your dog swallows them, or something like that, that's surgery. Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
they're
bad
really,
work.
really
Yeah.
kind of serious. So, again, not to kind of be,
Oh, do you know what? I
all
actually
health
have
and
them here
safety
on the
and
bottom
stuff, but
shelf in my kitchen. Like the baby could definitely reach them.
yeah, you definitely need to pick those up. Like we had a bit of a panic um
I
once
never thought of
because
that as an odd safety tip, but yeah, you suppose it's harder to swallow a war mag base, isn't it?
yeah, oh well, yeah, I don't think you. I think you. I'd have difficulty swallowing a Warhammer base.
I could swallow anything.
But I don't know. That's saying a lot about you. That.
I'll try anything once.
Yeah. But yeah, so from a safety perspective, from a gaming perspective, just from an attaching them, like you just you peel
Oh, yeah.
the bottom off them, stick them on. You're not trying to I see people again using the super glue with the near dimming magnets. But the thing is, like, super glue is so brittle that over time that is going to come off.
And that's the problem I've had with mine is I take it off the thing and the magnet's left on the metal tray and I've got a magnetless miniature, or I use green stuff and I hate it. That's why I hate using magnets. So I'm hoping War
it's
Mag are
just
the
a
answer
ball
for me.
ache. And I think and this is why I was really when I did a video about them. I was positive about them because I don't think there is really anything particularly negative. Like, don't get me wrong, they're a bit more expensive, but for me, the convenience of not having to like try and green stuff something in place or use epoxy or something like that to glue the magnets in place, and buying a ferrous sheet that I just know is going to work, because you can people say, oh, you can buy cheaper metal sheets from eBay or something like that. It's like you can, but you don't know what the quality of it's going to be. You don't know how it's going to react with the magnets that you've already got. Like there's just all these kind of unknowns with it. Like, don't get me wrong, there will be some brands that are pretty good out there, but magnets are not the sort of thing that you normally have like brand names for,
No,
other
no.
than War Mag. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They're
they're
the ones
kind
I
of
know of. Yeah.
yeah, they're kind of filling that niche of something that is kind of was kind of needed, if that makes sense. Like, it's fine to DIY it, but it's
No,
just so much better to
they
buy.
sound like I am the target audience, right? I don't want to make my own wet palette. I don't want
Yeah,
to make my own box thing. So they come with anything that requires me to do something. I basically hate, right? So if it's like, oh, go out and buy this box and then buy this metal sheet and then you cut this sheet down and then you use green stuff to magnetize a model on your bottom model, you buy that. And if you do 9 million, it works out cheaper, right? I just don't want to do that.
yeah,
So currently my miniature storage system is on the floor in various spread out piles, and my job when I have to go get a board is not step on them. I did actually
yeah.
crunch a whole ton of miniatures today, so I'm really hoping they are the answer to my current storage / miniature on the floor issue.
So that's what I've got, like in the other room now. I've put some shelves up, and like literally I've just got like the 4 liter boxes or the 9 liter boxes, and like in this box is my Moria goblins, in this box is my Mordor orcs, in this box is my Minas Tirith. And so like in my cabinets I've still got like some of the heroes and like the nicer models and things, but for like all the chaff and things that I don't necessarily need loads of I don't really want them all out on display because I've just not got the space to display everything. It's just so easy, just stick them in boxes, and I know exactly what's in all the boxes. You can see the models, you've got labels on them. I think it's just a great product.
I think my only issue is I'll find out when I use them myself. It's like, what about armies that have like mixed height things, right? So like my Stormcast, they'll fit in a short box, but then like your Nastra and all the tall models, the prosecutors.
Well, there are taller boxes that you can get from really useful blocks. So it's
yeah,
not.
they do that. They do like extenders, don't they, on the top or something?
Yeah, so there's like a
oh no, I've done a thing.
Yeah, there's like I think it's got like an extra couple of inches on the on top. An extra couple of inches. Everyone loves an extra couple of inches, don't they? Lads. So yeah, and they do bigger boxes as well. Like if you look at the range of really useful boxes, there's so many sizes.
Okay, so it's probably it is probably they probably are the answers for my problem, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think of course that you probably get somebody. Oh well, what about my Imperial Knights or something like that? It's like, well, I'm sure there is a box that is tall enough for them, but
I have a box tall enough for Imperial Knights. What do you call it? Box for my Imperial Knights. I have a box tall enough, and for Curious Gargants.
But they're always going to be like a pain in the ass.
I've got the Thunderhawk. What do I do about that?
Yeah. Why can't I magnetize that? Where am I going to stick a magnet on that? It's like, but for especially Middle Earth things, most things aren't any taller than about that. Even with a banner and things. So most things will fit in the 4 liter boxes, which is kind of about that tall. So I just don't have an issue with it now. Obviously, 40k and Age of Sigmar are going to be different because they've got different scale, different size minis and stuff. But
I'd say check into my channel in about a month or so time, and then you'll.
yeah,
Well, I say that now, and then you'll find out there how I got on, because I'm going to do that exact thing. So there you go. Look,
exciting.
good old Warmag.
Yeah,
Anything else? Anything else we need to shill today? Right.
I think
If Warmag Army Painter are listening, do you want to give us a sponsor? Sorry, Green
yeah.
Stuff World. Probably don't get a sponsor from you.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's all right. We don't really. We wouldn't probably accept it.
Timu?
No, send us money. We'll shill anything. That's not true. Maybe.
No, that's definitely not true.
No. There's a certain book that they had come out that
There's been a few things over there.
No, that wasn't Green Stuff World. That
was AK Interactive.
That was AK Interactive. Yeah, they do make good paints, but yeah, there was a morally questionable advertising
they've all
campaign.
done it. Didn't Vallejo have one as well recently with like a factory falling apart or something? And they've all been there.
Yeah,
so I think Games Workshop are actually probably all right. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. Yeah, as companies go there, they're okay. Yeah, they're probably
got a factory falling apart. They didn't do any sort of weird books, and they don't steal everyone's products. They just sort of
and images of painted models and pass them off on their own. Yeah. Right, so we've slandered. Well, it's not really slander if it's true, is it?
It's just true. Yeah, we've actually stated some facts.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody else, we love you guys. So yeah, you can approach us for sponsorship. That's fine.
Yeah. I think we'll probably leave it to round up there. So best products, worst products. We've done that. If you guys out there have any products, if you've made it this far into the video, I don't know how long this has been. But if you've had any, any products you love or any big hobby regrets, do let us know in the comments, and also let other viewers know, and let them know why. Let me know why I should buy something. I always out for positive things in particular. If someone says, "Oh, these are my 3 favorite paints," like since we had Callum on, I got Thondia Brown. It's awesome.
Yes, I got some Thondia Brown. I still need to get Tinny Tin.
Tinny Tin, yeah, get that, yeah, and Ice Yellow.
That's one I keep forgetting about. But yeah, I've got Thondia Brown.
So yeah, so let us know anyone's there, and also if you got any hobby regrets, let us know, because that way we can all save money, right? There's no point in buying shite if we don't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the point. We're here. We've got stuff. I don't know how long we'll be here for, because it's episode 21 now. What is this? 20 or 21?
This is 21. We've gone past the average lifespan of a podcast, so
we did it now, so we can just quit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got about another 12 weeks before my child arrives, so
episode 33 then will be the last one. Yeah, good job.
It might be the last one for a while, but I think we've talked about it and kind of what the plans might be short term whilst I'm coping
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh Jesus! I was cancelled within 2 weeks.
Might get some nice guests on, or some nice co-hosts for you to.
I'd like to say we'll have videos backed up, but so far it's Saturday night or whatever it is now. Right?
Every time, like it's Friday night now. Like it's only a couple of nights ahead, but yeah, it can be a bit grim.
And we skipped a week, so
Yeah, exactly. It's awful, absolutely awful the last couple of weeks. But yeah, we will try. We might have to take a couple of days off or something, like during the week. And,
you might have to take a day or two off, and we'll just try and
we'll just chat shit like all day and just back up like 6 episodes.
The people, the listeners out there, you guys will know as well. If we've done 4 in a row and we're on episode 4, we'll be like, "Hello,
what episode's this now?
This is episode something again.
Episode 54.
Today we're talking about how
my
shit
life
is." Yeah. But other than that, no, thank you to all you guys listening. Thank you to our patrons. If you want to support the channel, Benji needs a hair transplant. I need a new mic cable. I need a new headphone set. I'll need a hair transplant soon. So just if you want to get us a turkey, thanks. No, actually, if you want to support the channel, because
there are some costs associated with this channel. We don't just want to go for hair transplants and things. There are costs associated with the channel which we are trying to cover, and it would be nice to kind of at least break even on what we've spent on the channel. But yeah, thank you so much, and make sure that you go and check out Fog of Wargaming. That is fog,
Of
F-O-G,
Wargames.
of war game, fog of war games, fog of war games. My God, I keep butchering it. Fog of war games, not frog of war games.
And not fog of wargaming.
Yeah,
Fog
not fog
of
of war.
war games.
Fog of war games. My God, I've absolutely butchered this. I might have to re-record this whole friggin' episode. But yeah, make sure that you go and check them out, and make sure that you use the code, which is SideQuests, for an extra 10% off your order. You didn't show Broadsword Wargaming barely at all.
Oh yeah, I'm Broadsword Wargaming. I've got a shop out here in Ireland as well. So you know, if you're in the EU, buy from me. Thanks so much. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you everyone for listening. I just didn't want to overshill.
Shield. We'll put links to all the stuff that we mentioned down below. Go and buy them.
And my Amazon affiliates link if you want to buy some wallpaper. We should have one, really. Wait, have we got an Amazon Games affiliate? We do. No, not for this episode. I don't know.
Not for this one we won't, but for the next one we will.
No, we won't. We won't. It'd be Fog of War Games. So
it'll be Fog of War Games. Oh yeah.
This is a chaotic ending.
Yeah, it's okay. Just cut it.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
Bye. No, we won't have it for a while. We'll have it at some stage, but not now.
Yeah.
Right. On that note, thank you so much for listening to us waffle for the last. I don't even know how, because it got stopped halfway through. I don't even know how long this episode is. It could be like 3 hours at this stage. Thank you so much for listening to us waffling for however long this episode has gone on for. I have been Ben.
I've been Ollie. And we
together
have been
SideQuest Podcast. Oh God, we just butchered that. My God, I'm gonna have to just stop this recording.
Just press stop. Bye.